So today I'm going to talk about calorie guidelines for recovery and also for after recovery. Basically, the guidelines are if you are a female that is 25 plus years of age, you're between 5 foot and 5'8", then your calorie guidelines are 2,500 minimum. If you are under 25, you're female, you're between 5 foot and 5'8", or you are over 25, male, between 5'4" and 6 foot, then your minimum calorie guidelines are 3,000 calories. If you are under 25-year-old male, between 5'4" and 6 foot, your calorie minimum guidelines are 3,500 calories. If you are, a female with children, if you're 25 plus, it would be about 3,000 calories. If you're under 25, it would be 3,500 as well. If you have activity that you can't stop doing, when you're in recovery, you shouldn't be doing any exercise at all. But of course, some of us, have things that you have to do, like if you're at university, you might have to walk around campus or walk to and from. Obviously, the best thing to do would be to get a bus to and from, but some of us can't afford that kind of thing. So, if you've got unavoidable activity, which is especially kids as well, that's probably one of the most exhausting things to do, then you have to make up for that and add calories on. Now, these are minimums, so this isn't that's a minimum that you have to reach in recovery. Like you should be reaching these and more. The more that you eat, the faster your body's going to heal. If you're taller than the guidelines, then you just add 200 calories to the guideline that you fit into. If you're shorter, you can subtract 200 calories, but you don't need to. I mean, as I said, the more the better, especially when you're healing from an eating disorder. As far as when your body is weight restored again, I had the question of how many calories are you supposed to eat when you're at a healthy weight? It's the same. You shouldn't be actually thinking about how many calories you're eating. You should be responding to hunger cues by then. When you're at a healthy weight, your hunger signals are back and your cues are normal again. You should be eating whenever you're hungry and eating whatever you fancy. Like that is recovery. Like you shouldn't be restricting anything. You shouldn't be wanting something to eat but then eating something else because it's healthier. That's not real recovery. Recovery is being relaxed around food and eating what you want. So actually the calorie guidelines are still the same when you're weight restored. Now everyone's probably going to be like, what? I should be eating 3,000 calories? I mean, that's me. I'm under 25, between 5 foot and 5'8", so 3,000 calories, that's my calorie guideline. Now, obviously, when you're healthy, you're not going to hit 3,000 like every day systematically. You some days you might hit 2,500 and some days you might hit 3,500 or 4,000. Hunger varies from day to day in a normal body, and it depends what you're doing as well. Like sometimes you're too busy to eat because you're distracted by doing something else, like work or essays or something. And if you go out for a meal or you have a day with the girls curled up on the sofa, or the boys playing video games or something, that's a bit stereotypical, but then you might have snacks and stuff around and just eat all day, and that's perfectly normal. That's what a person without an eating disorder would do. Me and my friend before, we just have a movie day and finish off bags of popcorn and chocolate and ice cream and all that kind of stuff, and that's just a normal person. You shouldn't be thinking about whether you've gone over your daily allowance. I mean, there is no daily allowance. It's what you feel like. 3,000 calories probably seems like a big number, or 2,500 or 3,500, depending what you know, around what you're supposed to have. It might seem like a bigger number than usual, but that's only because we've been brainwashed by a diet culture that 2,000 calories or under is a good thing to eat. I mean, it's not. You're restricting yourself. If you find that you craving something to eat and you don't eat it, and you have an apple instead of toast or something like that, you're not providing your body with what it's telling you that it needs. Cravings are there for a reason. You know, cavemen, they didn't think about, you know, what time it was or how many calories was in their meal. They had a lot more limited food supply, but they weren't thinking about what they're eating and when they're eating. They ate what they wanted to and could get hold of, and they didn't think, you know, there was no counting involved. That's not how our bodies work. They would respond to the hunger that they had, and that is what we should do as well. It's a bad idea to label foods healthy or unhealthy as well. That just creates a bad relationship with food. I don't think there should be labels going on healthy or unhealthy, bad or good. I think that's a lot of where some eating disorders can stem from having families that have decided to teach their children between bad and good foods, and then they just limit themselves on these bad foods. But really, you know, you should be eating them when you want. And people say, oh, we only treat ourselves, you know, once a week or have something bad. No, I mean, I eat unhealthy foods every single day, and I'm a completely average, healthy, normal weight. Calorie guidelines, the 2,000 a day calorie guidelines, they were actually made just by asking people how much activity they did a day and how much they thought they ate a day, and kind of just averaging it out. There wasn't really that much science behind it at all. It's totally unreliable. I mean, first of all, if you're eating people, not eating people, if you're asking people that don't have an eating disorder how many calories a day they're eating, they're not actually going to know. I mean, a lot of people do count calories these days, but you are someone healthy, how many calories they're eating a day, they're not really going to know. They're just going to kind of round up. People forget the sugar in their tea, the condiments, you know, stuff like ketchup and brown sauce and mayo and oil, stuff, you know, stuff that like people with eating disorders think about, but people without don't, you know, and those things round up to calories that they wouldn't think about. And liquid calories as well, hot chocolate, orange juice, coffee, stuff like that. People don't think about them when they're adding up how much calories that they consume a day. So when these people were asked, and they rounded it up to this 2,000 calorie a day guideline for women and 2,500 for men, then, you know, what they've actually done is just got people to estimate what they're eating. And these people didn't have a clue really what they're eating, clearly, because you know, I had a conversation with my dad about the 3,000 calorie a day thing, and he was like, oh, that seems like a really big number. But when I started explaining everything to him, he was like, yeah, actually, yeah, that makes sense. And I said to him, you know, you definitely eat more than, and drink more than 3,000 calories a day, you know. And I asked him like whether he thought about, you know, the alcohol he consumes and the drinks he has and like all the little things that he wouldn't necessarily think about. He would just think about the actual meals and foods that he was eating, not the stuff that accompanies it, as I said, like sauces and drinks and stuff. And then he realised that, yeah, what I said was actually making sense completely. It's still quite daunting that it's a big number. I found it very daunting as well. But I can say that my body is healthy, and for months and months and months I probably ate on average 2,800 calories. So I didn't follow these guidelines to a T, but I was only like 200 on average below, and you know, some days I was eating 4,000, 4,500 calories, and some days I was eating 2,400 calories, but when I averaged it out, it was about 2,800, and I didn't gain anything. I think I probably gained about 5 pounds like over a very long period of time when I was consistently doing these guidelines, just because I think it was the ending of my weight gain in recovery. But that was only a huge amount of time, so I do think that that was, you know, just the end amount of pounds that I needed to gain for my body to be at a healthy weight. But since then, I don't weigh myself, but looking at my body, I haven't really gained or lost anything, and I pretty much eat what I want. There are other people as well that are proof if you need proof. I know one girl who was exactly the same. She went through recovery. I mean, I talked last week about overshooting weight, your healthy body weight, and that's what she did. She overshot her healthy body weight. She was the heaviest she'd ever been, but as she continued through the recovery process, her body tapered down again, and she's actually pretty slim now. Not that it matters, but I'm just saying. And the other question I did receive was, if you overshoot, should you be eating less calories? No, you shouldn't. You should never be restricting any calories ever. From now on, when you start this method of recovery, you do not restrict yourself in any way, and you don't for the rest of your life, because restriction is just part of the eating disorder. And I know, yes, okay, so we live in a society where a lot of people restrict, but they're on the spectrum of disordered eating here. Like, anybody who's restricting their eating has a bad relationship with food, and it's not good to live your life that way. It's not going to be particularly happy if you are limiting yourself, and it's not going to be healthy for your body. If your body wants something, if your body's hungry, you should be responding to that. You should be respecting your body. I mean, you know, you listen to all your other bodily functions. Why would you ignore this one? That doesn't make sense at all. It's a society-induced rules and routines and regulations that society is creating, that we should label foods as good or bad, as tempting or indulging, or treating yourself, or I don't know, you know, stuff like that. But it's not good to think that way. Yeah, it doesn't create a good relationship. So basically, yes, from now on, you should be eating what you want when you want. And in no situation should you be eating less. You don't eat less to maintain. You don't eat less because you have overshot your healthy body weight. You just don't eat less. That is the key. Just, you do not ever restrict anything at all. Yes, so in recovery, make sure you are definitely sticking to those guidelines. That's important to heal your body. Remember, no exercise, and that you should be eating around this much for the rest of your life. No restrictions, no rules, no routines, no eating disorder. Yes. So I hope that has reassured people that you can eat what you want when you want. That you know, it's not going to make you unhealthy. It's not going to make you gain a huge amount of weight. As I said last time, some people's weights are naturally to the higher end of the BMI scale. Some people's are naturally to the lower end. Most people are in the middle, and eating what you want, it will keep you up whichever weight your body is healthiest at. And you just have to, you know, accept that your body will dictate that. You can't dictate that. It's up to your body to be at its healthiest. So listen to your body, respond to your body. You need to trust it, and it will trust you. So yeah, continue with these guidelines, and yeah, let me know how you're getting on.